A group of related statements that perform specific tasks. It's a function. Function helps to reuse a program or a small chunk, small modular chunks, and maybe the grow larger and larger program should be reduced it by using the functions. So function is help to break our program into smaller and modular chunks. Function help to break our program into smaller and modular chunks. And as our program goes larger and larger, function make it more organized and manageable. So function makes it in a makes it more organized and manageable. So function is used most probably majorly used for the repetition purpose and code reusability. So majorly we are using for the function. Function is used to, so we cannot use it for the multiple times of repetition. To avoid the repetition, you will use to make the code reusability. You can use for the reusability by can using this function. So function is nothing but some specific task, some specific task. Function can be splitted into number of smaller parts or chunks. We can divide it into larger program can be divided into smaller parts. So function is used to reuse the code. Function is used for reusing the code. And next, we'll see the syntax. So we'll see the syntax of the function. So first we can see the function def. Use the code def. Def is a keyword. So you know the def keyword. So function start with an def keyword and followed by the function name. So within the parenthesis, we maintain some parameters, and after end of the function definition, we maintain a colon header. Header ends must be a colon, and within it we maintain a document string and some of the statements. And finally, we may or may not be used to return statement. So this is the function definition part. We will see the syntax, and we will see that explanation below the explanation. So first we will observe that def is that keyword def that marks the start of the function header. That start of the function header. Def is nothing but a start of the function header. And next, function name to unique identity of the function. Function name is nothing but an identifier name. That is nothing but an identifier name. So you know, I think you know very well about identifier. That's why I'm using the identifier. All identifiers are the all variables are the identifiers. All identifiers not a variable. So identifiers are nothing but a function name, list name, that means a tuple name or class name, whatever it may, that all are identifiers. In variable also one of the identifiers, but all variables are identifiers, but all identifiers are not a variable. So you will please understand that. So function name to uniquely identify the function. So uniquely identify the function. Okay. Function name follows the some rules of writing the identifiers in the Python. So you will please understand this one. Some rules of writing the identifier. So you have an identifier rules are there. So you know very well, I think so. I didn't repeat that identifier rules. And next, parameters. Parameters are nothing but an arguments through which we pass the values to a function. So we can pass the arguments as a parameter to following it. So within a functional statement, we can access that parameters to following the. So it may be or may not be how it will access. We can use the they have in a 4 types of that. So we can see that parameter types. So on that time we can discuss the parameter clearly. Okay. There are, so there may be a optional. So maybe pass the arguments or without pass the arguments, we can see it, how it will pass or we cannot pass. So the header ends with an a colon. The header end with the, it's a function header end with the colon. It's a end of the functional header. And optional document string. So document string is an optional one to describe what the function does, what the function does. So we may use, it's a nothing but an a document string is nothing but a comment line. Maybe a comment line, you maintain a comment. What is the function does in the what happens within the function. So we can describe in the theoretically, we may use the document string. So may or may not be used, no problem. This is an optional one. And next, one or more valid Python statements that make the function body. Is there these the statements in the functional body? This is the function body. You can use it in the functional body. So this is the function header. This is the function header. Okay. So please understand carefully, then only you can solve the any type of problem. Okay. And one or more valid Python statement that make up the function body statement must have the same identical level. That same identical means this is the same identical level, that is an a indentation, nothing but as an a indentation. That means four spaces is nothing but an a indentation. You will use the indentation property. And next, finally, optional return statement. Maybe or may not be used the return statement. These are the things are described in the function syntax. Okay. And next, so we'll see one example. It's def greet of name. So this is the def means function header starts. So def here indicates the def. Def indicates that function starts here, and greet means function definition, sir, function name. It's a function name, and within the parenthesis, the name is in a parameter. The name is in a parameter. It's a colon end for the end of the function header. End of the function header. So these are the things in the first line. So in the first line, there's a function start with a def and the followed by the function name, and so maintain the parenthesis in the parameters. After completion of the parenthesis, you will maintain a colon. The colon is nothing but an end of the function header. The end of the function header, and you will maintain indentation. After the colon, will maintain indentation. Will follow the indentation. The following indentation have say document string. So this is the document string. It's nothing but in a doc string or like that. So this is the document string, and followed by the Python statement. That statement will be the function body. The statement will be the function body state. So please understand this one. And so now I will create the function, and we can see in a practical and how to call that function. We will see. So first we will create a function. So I will use to create one. So function def, start with a function greet. That's a greet is a function name. I'm passing one parameter. That parameter is in a name. So name and age. I will pass the name and age also. That's a one more parameter I'm using, age. And finally header will ends by using colon, and I will enter the enter. And next, I will maintain a document string here. It's a I will print here. What happens? I will write the statement here. That is a document string. So here I will maintain. So I will print the name and age of a person. So this is the document string. Document string will maintain a triple quotation. Triple quotation is nothing but a commenting line. So you will please understand that one. So print of, so hello, comma, so name, and next, so I represent my age is, so they will represent like this. So that we can pass the two arguments. The two arguments are utilized within the function. So you can save this file. I will save this file and I will run the code. And I will save. I will run this code F5, and next function name is greet. I will call the function. So function name is greet. So here the function name is greet. Greet of, it's a greet of. I will pass the name. So I will pass the Ravi name as Ravi, and age as 34, and I will enter. So hello Ravi. So my age 30. Like that, it will be print the internal processing statements. Let's say in the name, it will be accessed. I'm passing the name. That name will access to here, and age. So I will processing the age value. So then it will receive that position and it will access that value. And so will you please, I think you will understand this one. So here I will call the function greet of, so like this Ravi, and 34 I will pass here, and next it will prints the value. So here the Ravi will access this, so name, and the age will access this 34, and it prints the value. It's automatically prints hello will print, and space Ravi, and next line it prints the my age is, and then age will represent the value 34. It will print like this. At it calls, so I will call the function. That function name is greet. I will call a one function. That function name is greet. Greet of, I will pass it as an argument. That arguments are related to consign or consignment of these variables, and then inner of the function, it will access that. So it will passes the value. And next, so will you please observe here? So how to call a function in the Python means, so we can pass like this. Once we have defined a function, we can call it from another function. So it may be pass the another function. You have to pass the, you have to create the another function. That function to call the another function is also, it's a program, even Python prompt also. Now I will call the Python prompt and I will call the function name, call to the function. We simply type the function name with appropriate parameters. So will you please understand this point? So function name with appropriate parameters. We can pass that parameters actually, then we can get that value. So okay. So how will you get that value means, access that value means you can call the function with a parameter, call that function, and will be accessed the within the state, within the functional state, functional body of the function, and finally it will, maybe you will access some processing statement, it will print the values. So maybe addition of two numbers are so mm, remaining we will discuss and we can solve the problem. So different problems. So try running the above code in the Python program. So with the function definition, so we may see the output like this. We can greet of Paul. Let's say name it, it access the Paul, and hello Paul, good morning, like that. It will be print. And next, what is the document string? We will see the document string. So document string means it's a commenting line. So how it will print the elements. So we can access that document string by using function name dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. We can get that functional string, functional document string. So within the function document string, how we can get it out that value means it's a greet dot underscore underscore doc. So we will see in a practical. So see the shell greet dot, so greet dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. So it will print the, so commenting line part, will please observe that one. Print the name and age of a person. Print the name and age of a person. Okay. So document string will be print the name and age. And next part. So what is a parameter or argument? So what is the parameter or argument? Parameter are the variables which is used in the function definition. So these parameters are used in the function definition part, and so that is nothing but as an a parameters are input to the function. Parameters are input to the function. Parameter receives the input from the function call, and it is possible to define a more than one parameter. It may be more than one parameter in the function. In the function definition part, we can define it. So first we will understand this one. So parameters are nothing but variables. So which is used for, it will be defined in the function definition part, and these are nothing but any input values. These are the input functional parameters. Receive the input from the function call, from the input from the function call. So it is possible to define more than one parameter. It may be more than one parameter. We can use the name and age. So it may be more than one parameters also. We can use this in the function definition part. This is the functional parameters or arguments. Now we can, how many types of arguments are there? We can see it. Will you please observe here? So there are four functional arguments are there. There are four functional arguments are there. One is a required argument, keyword argument, default argument, and variable length argument. There are four types of arguments are there: required argument, keyword argument, default argument, and variable length argument. Will you please understand everything so you can easily understand the syntax? Then we can easily understand the how to pass the parameter. These four types of parameters we can easily return and we can easily solve the problems. So first we will understand the required arguments. First you will understand the required arguments. You may pass the so hello is a function name. You may pass a name, some gender. So whatever the thing you will pass to move. So how many parameters you are passed? Those parameters you must call those parameters. It's a hello. It's a name. You must pass the name, and you must pass the gender. It's a male or female, whatever. You must pass these two parameters. You didn't pass these two parameters. You didn't pass one parameter. At least two. You didn't pass only one parameter. You didn't pass two parameters. That may produce the error. That error will be required arguments. Is required the arguments like that. It produced as an error. What type of error it will produce? We will see that one. So you will please observe the theoretical part and you can solve this problem. It's a required arguments. So required arguments are the arguments passed to the function. So required arguments are the arguments passed to the function in correct positional order. In a correct positional order, you pass the arguments as in a positional order. You will not passing in a positional order. It produces an error. Error may be occurred or value may be changes. Value may be changes. It's an incorrect positional order. It's here the number of arguments in the function call should match exactly with the function definition. So you'll please understand this point carefully. The number of arguments in the function call should match the function call and function definition part. Function definition part. Within the function definition part. That's why you will here the function call is here. Print me is the function call. It's the function definition part and function header part, whatever it may be. It here print of it will pass one string. Here you didn't pass any parameter. It produced some error. It produced some error. You must match the parameters. That is only here match exactly with the function definition part. Function definition part. So you must match the parameter, the required parameter. What are the required parameters? You must match those parameters. You must match those parameters. So will you please understand this? These type error or errors are error name is type error. Error name is type error. So what the error will occur means type error. It's a function name. So function name takes exactly one argument. So you didn't given zero given. So you didn't pass any argument here like that they given. So you will print me function. Print me is the function. Exactly one argument is there. So the you didn't pass any argument within the parameter, like that they produce an error. That error will be the type error. That error will be the type error. Okay. So you must pass the parameters. We'll see in a practical. So I will create. So create one function def. So I will use the print me function, print me of the str parameter, print me of str colon, and I will print the string str. So when I call the print me, I didn't call any parameter. So I will save this file. And I will run this code F5. So it produces an error. So that error will be type error, print me, missing one required positional argument. The positional argument is nothing but an str. So str is missing. It's a required is a str parameter is missing. So I will pass the parameter now. I will pass the parameter. That string will be Ravi. I will pass the Ravi and save this file and run F5. Now it will be print automatically on the console Ravi. Okay, you must match the required arguments is nothing but a match the functional. When you call the functional arguments, calling and function definition both should be matched exactly. You may differ. That means you should. I will pass the more than one parameter. So I will use a name and age. You may use. So first you will print the name and age. You first observe this one. So I will call the Ravi and I will age the 34. I will pass the age 34. And next to again one more function I will call. That function is first I will give an age, then after I will give a name Raja. So you will please observe this one. It's a both arguments should be matched. You will please understand this one carefully. So both arguments are same. That's a name, age, both arguments should be same. But I'm given the name and age. Second calling function, I'm giving the age and name. So what happens? We will see and we will run the code. So I will save the file and run the code. So you will please observe. So both are matched. Required parameters. It's matched means it's automatically access the first argument. First positional argument should access that value. You'll please understand that. So name, it will name means it's not in a string. I didn't mention anywhere. It's a name. Its name may be Ravi or 34, whatever it is. So that argument should be matched or not. Here two arguments are first. Here given the two arguments. First argument will take the name, second argument will take the age. In the second parameter, second function also. First argument will take the number and second argument will take the string. It matches, its required argument should match It automatically accesses the values. Its argument should be matched or not. You will check it out. First one, compulsory, every argument should be matched. Then how we will pass? Let's say it may be same type of arguments. It may be the name, same name only I will use, not a number. On that situation, what type of arguments we are used means that is keyword arguments we are used. Next, so please understand this one. First one, drawback should be covered into keyword arguments. It's having a drawback in the default arguments. I'm sorry, required arguments. So required arguments must match means it will be accessed. The first argument should be the first argument. That should avoid this one. So keyword argument should be introduced. Keyword arguments are related to function call. Keyword argument and the keyword arguments are related to the functional call. It's related to the function call. When you use a keyword argument in a function call, the caller identify the arguments by the parameter name. You should understood this one. Okay. Keyword arguments are related to the function call. When you use a keyword arguments, when you use a keyword arguments in the function call, the caller identifies the arguments by the parameter name. So caller identifies the argument by the parameter name. Parameter name, they identify the parameter name. Allow you to skip the arguments or place them out of the order. Place them out of the order because the Python interpreter is able to keywords provided to match the values with parameters. So you can understand this point. So this allows you skip the arguments. This allows you to skip the arguments or place them out of order. So in the keyword argument, you may use to skip. It's not in a proper order. You didn't maintain it because the Python interpreter will be able to use the keyword provided. So you will use the keyword provided. So Python interpreter will understand to match the values with that particular parameter only. To match the values with the particular parameter. Well, please understood this point carefully. Then you can understand easily. So in the default arguments, required arguments should match a positional based values. It's a first argument should be matched the first element, first header, first function header argument, and the second argument should be matched to the second argument, like that. But here in the keyword argument, you didn't match the values. You may use the keyword. You will maintain the keyword pointer. You should match that particular keyword argument should be matched, and you didn't place an order, but it has some. So you will see in a practical, then you can understand easily. So first we will see this. So first here I will pass a age equals to 34. Age equals to 34. So first we will run this one. What happens we will see. F5. So it produced an positional arguments follows by the keyword arguments. You will understood this point. It's an error. The positional arguments followed by the keyword arguments. First must positional argument name is there. So after name only you can pass the age. So then how we can represent this one? Then how we can represent this one? So okay, I will pass the name, not age. I didn't mention the name here. Here I will mention the name. It's a name equals to. So keyword is in a name here. It's a here we are passing the name. That keyword name I am using here. So now we will see. I will run this code. It's an error. And so what type of error it will come? It's a type error. Print me got the multiple values of a multiple values for the argument name. Will please understand this point. So first you must maintain a got a multiple values for an argument name. So argument name. So multiple values means you must maintain those argument names. In this situation, so you pass the arguments, you will pass the argument that the arguments has an a keyword. You will pass the keyword name, then it will exist as history. So you will pass the age and the name. So it will access the arguments. You may use the multiple arguments is there. It's an a positional based, it's not an a positional arguments. You must use the both as an you may use both values. You will use to maintain a both arguments. Both arguments should be keyword arguments. You will maintain that keyword thing. So if may use like this, you may use print me of so Ravi, comma. So it's made different name in English. Rajesh, comma. So now I will maintain a age equals to so 45 or like that. So I will save it and I will run this code. So now it will be accepted. But why should not accept this situation? You didn't maintain a name here. So it produces some error. That error will be the positional argument required. So first maintain the positional argument, then you will maintain a keyword arguments. It's no problem will occur. It's a positional are nothing but an a positional arguments are nothing but an a required arguments. Positional argument are required arguments. That required arguments are must match first, then you will maintain a first positional base. That position is nothing but a name will accept. Next position, it may be in the first position of the second argument, it produce an error. It produce an error. You will must understood this point carefully. And next one, it's after positional only you will maintain the keyword. After positional argument only you will maintain the keyword. Otherwise you will maintain all arguments should be keyword. Otherwise you will maintain all arguments should be keyword. Clear? And next one is in a default argument. So default arguments. So in the default argument is an argument. In the default, a default argument is an argument that assumes default value. So default argument is an argument. So it's nothing but an argument. That is also an argument. But if a value is not provided to the function call, it defaultly accesses that value. So you must understood this point. It's actually default argument means you will maintain an argument value in the function definition point. In the function definition point, it's a default value. You didn't pass the function call that particular value. So that particular value didn't pass that particular value. They defaultly take the function definition value only. You will please identify that one. That is nothing but a default value. So you must understood this point carefully. Then you will easily identify that values. And so how it accesses that value. As a default argument is an argument that assumes a default value. If a value is not provided in the function call, it's a value is not provided in the function call for that argument. So that argument only access the function defined. We will define it in the function that the value will be accessed. Okay, you should understood this one. So following example. So here we are passing two arguments. One argument is name. So this defaultly I'm use the age. Age is 35. Defaultly here I am using the age 35. And you must use this. It's a print info in the function call. I will pass the age and name. So you must understood this one. I will pass the age. Age means I will pass the age, but it will not access the 35. I will pass the age in the function, in the function call. So it will access only this argument. Here in this function prints the name colon Mikey, name colon Mikey, age colon, so age colon 50, it will be print this function. In this function, it accesses only the positional argument. It accesses only the positional argument. They didn't pass any default, so any argument. It defaultly receives the age 35. You will maintain a age in the function definition part. And so you will assign that value. That value will access defaultly if didn't you didn't pass the age. You didn't pass the age. And so it will print here. It will print the values. It's a name. It's a name should be Mikey. Name will be Mikey, and age is, and the age is 35. It will print the 35 here. It will not print the 50. It will. You didn't pass any argument. At the same time, you may produce the error also. It is not produce any error. Why? Because means you define the function defaultly the age 35. So you didn't mention the value equal to 35. It produces an error. You will please identify that one. You will mention the argument value equals to 35. Argument value age equals to 35. You must maintain the within a function definition part. Function definition part. It must be written. It must be written a 35 only. It will return 35. You didn't mention any age value. It returns the 35. So in this one, you'll see in a practical. So in print me, I will use defaultly the age value is 21. Here I didn't pass anything, so here I'm passing. Here also I'm passing. So I'll save this file and I will run this code. So will you please understand this one? So here the first argument Ravi only I will pass, but I didn't pass age value. But defaultly it receives the 21. The 21 will print the value. And next, print me age 34. I will given the age and the name both. And then it will access the 34 only. So it didn't access the default value. It will access the 34. And here also I'm passing the age 45. It will access the 45, not default value. Here I didn't pass any argument, then only access the default value. So here I didn't pass the value. Now it will access the default value 21. Will access the default value 21. In your class, almost all persons age have a same value. And that type of situation, you must maintain a age equals to fixed it. You fixed it and you will use that default arguments. Here you didn't pass any argument here. They defaultly take it that way. If anyone is any elder to your classmates, that person details only you will mention it. Otherwise, you didn't mention any value here. Okay. This is the default arguments. And final one, it's a variable length arguments. We'll see the variable length arguments. So you may pass the multiple arguments at a time. It's maybe in the list values or tuple, whatever it may be. It's defaultly, it's a variable length argument, defaultly take it as a tuple. Defaultly take the tuple. And more than one argument we can receive in the variable length arguments. You will pass only single name. You will pass the single name. It will receives the multiple values. How we can access that variables? We can see in the variable length arguments. So first we will observe this one. So you must listen carefully. So we may need to process the function. We may need to process the function for more arguments than you specified. So you will please understand this point. So you may need to process a function more arguments than you will specify while defining the function. So here I'm passing a multiple values. So 20, 30, 40, 50 like that. So I'm required the variable name is tuple arguments. I may use to pass the tuple arguments. In the tuple arguments, it will receive before we can maintain a argument list like that. So star indicates that star. I indicates the variable length argument. Argument name before we maintain a star. This star indicates or star represents the you will receive the multiple values. That argument will receive a multiple values. Please understand this point. This argument called a variable length argument. Your argument name on this argument is called a variable length arguments. And are not the name and are the not named in the function definition. So you will not maintain the name within the function definition. Unlike required the default argument. Unlike it's required the default arguments. It related to the default argument. maybe used some default argument. So first we will see uh, only only variable length arguments. Next, combination of it may be default or required argument or some more arguments. You may use the different arguments. With a combination of these variable length argument, what will happen? We will see it in a practical. So first you will understand this, how to pass the arguments in the variable length. So we will see this syntax, then we can easily understand that one. It's a syntax of non-keyword variable arguments. It may be function name def. You know very well about def and function name, and within a parameters, it's a formal arguments or it's a variable arguments. It is a formal arguments. It is a star. Before star indicates this is a variable argument tuples. So you must this argument will receive only tuple values. This argument is only received only tuple values. Only tuple values. You must understood this one. Okay. And we can first we didn't use the formal arguments, we used only variable arguments. In the variable arguments, you will maintain a function suit here. Function suit are nothing but multiple arguments means we will use the for loop by printing the values, or otherwise you may process it sum of all the variable elements, or the sum of the tuple or sum of the list, or whatever it may be. You will use by using passing the arguments here, and then you can sum it and you will produce the single value. That is also a one way. And we can see in a practical, and you stood understood this problem. So first you will understand. So I will pass the multiple values. So where I will use the name where. Here I am passing the multiple values. So in the X, I will pass the tuple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The tuple name I will pass to here X, and I will print those elements for I, for I in where print of I. So I will print the I value. So each here, so you will please understood this point carefully. For I in where means I will pass the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Then you will print the value. Print I means it will print the each value 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 like this. It will be print. Okay, and you will see this one. I will save this file. Save, and I will run this code. It will directly print the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can pass the value. It will print like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will see. So please observe. I will pass the tuple. It will take the tuple. I will pass these elements. So it will be print like this, 1, 2, 3. You will pass the tuple as, it will print the tuple. So they assumed like this. They assumed of tuple. So that it will pass the values F5. I will run this code. You will see this one. Same as it is like that. So you didn't pass the values, and the multiple manner you may use to pass this way. You didn't pass any argument, any parenthesis or squared, whatever it may be. You didn't pass anything. You directly used this one. So you will run this code. Like this, it will be print. You may use this one as a tuple. On that situation, you may use x equals to var, and then you will pass to here may. So this is also a print same as this. You will use to pass the values, and then you may use the length, and then you will pass the x of I like that. That's a range of length of x, range of length of var, range of length of var. So you will use the var. So x of ith position element, you will print the first x of I, and then run. Maybe you will run this code. So this is also a same thing. It will be repeated. Entirely take it as a single element. So it will be take it as a single argument. It will receive it. That is also same. It will receive the entire thing will be only single value. So okay, you must understood this point. So you may pass the array or tuple or whatever it may. Okay. So it will take entire elements, or you may use to print the elements without an tuple or array. It will be print same as it is. So you will please understand this point. Star var, it will print the I value, then it will be accessed automatically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay. And you may use the positional based situation, and you may use the positional based. It will be, so it may, I will pass an as a name. So first argument should receives the one. You may use without any name here, passing the without any name. First print the one, so access the name one, and remaining elements 2, 3, 4, 5 will access the var. So I didn't print name. Okay, so you will see, you will observe this one. So only 2, 3, 4, 5 only print. So one will access as a name. It's a positional argument. It receives the positional argument. You must understood this one. So I will print the name here. Before print of name, it will print the 1. So F5, it will print the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay. So first argument defaultly it receives the first argument defaultly it receives the name. In case I will use as any string Ravi or whatever it may be. Now it will receives the name as an Ravi, then remaining element should be where? First element should be Ravi, then remaining element should be in the where? Variable length arguments. That is a variable length arguments. Variable length arguments. You must understood this point. And next one, this is the actually types of arguments. These are the types of arguments. So there are 4 types of arguments. You must understood this point. It's a required argument, keyword argument, default argument, and variable length arguments. And first we can solve one problem by using this function. Find the largest element in the list. Find the find the largest element in the list. I will pass one list value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will find the largest value or maximum value. How can you write this program? By using functions. By using the functions. So you will understand this one. First, I will write the largest function. I will create the function largest def. Function name is largest of. I will pass the argument. That's argument is nothing but a list. And I will print of. So I want the max of a list. So directly I will print it. Or otherwise you may use to return. So you will return means you must pass the value, some other variable. You will pass the arguments, assign the function. You may use like this, or you will print directly print of largest of list. So we will see in three different ways we can solve this problem. So you will please observe this one. So def largest of, I will pass as a list arguments. I will pass the list arguments and then print max of maximum element in the list. Print maximum element in the list. So here I am passing the largest of at 2, 4, 7, 5, 8. I will pass this list and we will see. I will save this file and I will run this file. It should return 8. It should return 8. You will please observe this one. I will write in a different way. So I didn't print the value. I will return the value. I will return it, return the value, and you may use to assign x equals to, and then you will print that value x, print of x, and you will save this file and run this file, and this way also you will print the value. Okay, in outside you didn't pass any variable. This variable is so one more variable we are using, like that you will assume that one. We will remove this way and directly will print the arguments. Print the, within a print function, you will call the function. Within the print, you will call the function. Directly it will print the. So this way we can write the code, or otherwise you will maximum logic you will use. You will first one you will compare to the next one, and then you will find out the largest value or maximum value or minimum value, whatever it may be in the list or tuple or whatever it may be. So you will pass the arguments. Which type of argument you will pass, that will be the major issue. You will please understand the required argument, keyword argument, and default arguments, and variable length arguments. If you have any doubt in these four, you will please ask me. If you have any doubt, or otherwise it's clear, you please mention clear, it will be clear. You will please respond. Okay. Okay. Shall we write another code, another program? So, yes, thank you. So, we will write the in the string, in the string. So, you will concatenate the two strings and you will return that string. So, I will pass the two strings, but you will return one string. So, Ravi, it's separate string. Kumar is a separate string. So I will pass two strings, string 1 and string 2. But you will return one string, Ravi Kumar. So you may use space. With you may use to space, you will use it. So how can we print that one? So I will pass two strings. So first you will create the concatenation. So I will use con cat, concat. I will use in a function. I will pass the two strings, str1 comma str2, and I will concatenate it to do these two strings, str plus, I will use this space, and then str1 space str2, and here I will pass the function as concat concatenate of. So first one I will pass the Ravi, and second one I will pass the Raja, and then I will run this code. Ravi space Raja, it will print, and run F5. Ravi space Raja, it will print. And next one, you will please observe, I will pass any number. So it may I will pass the any number. So what will happen? You will please observe. F5, it produced an error. So why? What is the reason? That reason is unsupported operand type. Unsupported operand type. So it's an integer. You didn't use the space. Space must be concatenated by using string only, not the number. You didn't concatenate that situation. You will use str1 plus str2. It may be value will be 9. It produce the 4. You may pass the value 4, 5. So you will please observe this one. So you didn't. So you will use only plus here before the situation. So Ravi space Raja. So it will access the code. It will run the code. Same. But here we maintain a space here, but it will not produce a space. Why? Because we here I am using the plus. After plus we maintain a space and then plus concatenate it, space with concatenate, so between the two strings, and finally it will produce the Ravi space Raja. It will produce that string and return it. Here it didn't pass any string me. Then you will please understand this one. Here I pass the 3 and 4, and then it will return the value 7. So in this situation it will be accepted, but you will concatenate that situation by using a space. It's a string. In between a string, in string it is not supported. That error, you will please understood the error. Type error, unsupported operand type plus int and str. It's not a string, it's an integer value. You didn't concatenate it like that, it given an error. First you know the error, then you can easily write the program. You first understood the error and you will solve that errors, then only you can improve the program. ఎర్రర్ ఎప్పుడైతే వస్తుందో అప్పుడే ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ నేర్చుకుంటాం. ఎర్రర్ రాకపోతే ప్రోగ్రామ్ నేర్చుకోలేం, అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. సో వెన్ ఎర్రర్ విల్ కమ్స్ వి కెన్ లెర్న్ ద ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ యాజ్ యూజువల్. ఏదైతే మీరు నేర్చుకోవాలనుకుంటున్నారో అది ఈజీగా నేర్చుకోవచ్చు. సో యూ మస్ట్ అండర్స్టూడ్ దిస్. ఫస్ట్ యూ విల్ క్లియర్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ద ఎర్రర్, then you can learn the programming easily. Otherwise you will, so without written error code, so you didn't solve any programming. Okay, so next problem you have a new problem. Every problem is a new problem. And next so this type of problems you can clearly write in the functions. So sum of list elements, how can you find sum of the list elements in the functions? Sum of list elements, how can you write the list elements? Also I will pass the list elements. I will pass the list elements 1 2 3 4, and here I will pass the str1. That's a variable name only. You may use the list, no problem. You may use the li and return the sum value, sum of li. You will simply write this code. It produce the value 10 and it will return 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. It will return the li. So how can you find the uh, second largest element in the list? Sir, sir, there you have a given that integers and you keep str1 plus str2. How it will be take integers as string? It will take it as an integers, not a string. It's defaultly that's a str1, str2 is an a names. You will please understood that one. That's only I will tell you. str1 is a number, str2 is an a number. They receives as an a numbers and it will add it. Let's say in between I will use to plus quotations. It will receives as a string. So entire take it as a string. That's why it produce an error. You will please understand that one. Okay. I will pass the strings or numbers, whatever it may be. They don't know the function or interpreter. You will pass it, they understand. So you will pass the value is an interpreter will identify that is a string or number. It may be plus means plus indicates number will add these two numbers. Or strings means concatenate two strings. We will maintain a between plus it's having some space. It must be string, not an integer. On that situation, it produces an error. Okay. అమ్మా స్ట్రింగ్ అక్కడ ప్లస్ యూజ్ చేసింది str1 ప్లస్ str2 అంటే str1 str2 అనేటివి మేబీ డిఫాల్ట్లీ టేక్ ఇట్ as a number or string. You will pass the number, it will receive as a number. You will pass it as a string, it will receive as a string. You will please understood this point. Okay, let's say it's clear. So you will try in a practical, you know very well, I think so. So you will pass it and you will choose it. So concatenate of next you will find out the largest, second largest element. How will you find out the second largest element in the list? So you will find out the second largest element in the list. So you will find out the second largest element. It may be list is not an a so order. You may pass the order, so sorting order. First you will pass the sorting order, or otherwise you will sort the list in the definition function itself. Then you can print the last before number. So second largest means it's having a list have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a -1, -2. And the negative indexing. The second largest is this one. And you will print the second largest element. That second largest element is -2. That's a -2 position. It's a name is an li of -2 position. That's you will return this point. It's 1 minute. I will clear it. We will pass the different numbers. So 3, 5, 6, or 2, 4, or whatever it may be. And I will find out first sort the elements. Li dot sort, sort is sort. Find out the it will return the li of -2 second position element. It will return the second position element. This is the second largest element in the array. F5 5 is the second largest element. Let's say in the 6 is the highest element. In the second largest is 5. So smallest element means you will find out the second smallest element. You will use 1. Li of 1 here. So first index start with 0. Second element will be 1. So F5 and run this code. 2, 1, 2 will return the 2. So return one first position, it will return the Li of 1 means 2. So first smallest 1, second smallest is 2. It return a 2 here. Largest or smallest, we can find out second largest or second smallest. You may pass the kth smallest. So you will pass the kth value and we can find out that position as an kth smallest or kth largest. We can find out that way. So you will find out kth largest and kth smallest. Okay. So today I will end this session here. If you have any doubts, please respond. Will you please respond? Anyone? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Sir Banu sir, may I leave?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Attendance link is there in the chat box. All of you please fill it. Fill it as fast as possible.